Blog Talk Radio.
Greetings. Welcome, everybody, to Transitions to Transformation Radio Show. I am your host, Rock and Roll Reverend Sue, and tonight we are lucky to have Master Numerologist Todd Curran, who is also the author of The Mysteries of Numerology, The Guide to Your Destiny, including profiles of visionaries, musicians, and madmen. Most recently, Todd's books are Beyond Numerology, Tapping into Other Worlds, which is about numerology behind mystical places like Egypt, the Bermuda, pardon me, I'm all garbled today, and the Bermuda Triangle. And also, Green Fury is his most recent book. It's a fantasy novel about teenagers who disappear, and there's alien crocodiles and all sorts of cool stuff in there. It's a very good read. And Todd has been on Bay News 9 here in Tampa Bay, as well as numerous radio shows, including this one. And tonight we will decipher all things Halloween in the realm of numerology and play some classic rock Halloween. And we'll just kind of set the mood for the rest of the week. It's spooky week. So, we'll have lots of mainstream rock and roll songs from, Halloweenish to set everybody in the mood. And now I'm going to give Todd the musical intro he deserves before I bring him on. Well, hello there, Todd.
How are you doing tonight, Susan?
Oh, good, thanks. I'm very happy to hear from you. It's been a long time since we did a radio show.
Yes, it has.
And now we're doing a spooky numerology show. I was going to do the count from Sesame Street and go, ah, 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 at the end of that intro. But I've been it's been a little bit of a glitchy night for me, so, anything goes here at Transitions to Transformation Radio Show. But we'll have fun anyway. Talk about spooky stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I thought all those retrogrades were over. Maybe not.
Maybe not. I think we might still be in a shadow.
A Halloween shadow.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we were going to talk about all things Halloween and the spooky numerology of Halloween and we were talking right before we went on the show here, and you had deduced the letters of Halloween, and that day, I think, to a number 1. Do you want to explain what 1 would mean for Halloween?
Yeah, one essentially is magic. It is the magician card in the tarot, the number 1 card. And if you think of 1 as a direct line going straight up and down forever, then it has direct communication with spirit or other realms. Jim Morrison of the Doors' birth date was a 1, as an example of that type of energy, and a lot of channels and communicators are 1s. And
it's a spiritual number, isn't it?
It is. It's very spiritual. In the Kabbalah, it sits at the top. Kether sits at the very top of the tree because of its direct communication with God. It is considered to be pure, unfiltered energy, and it is also new seed, I guess would be a good word for it. So that those that contain 1 energy are on the cutting edge because of an inability to go along with the crowd and to articulate something new that has hasn't been done at least during our generation.
That's interesting.
So it is a number of magic. It's a number of magic. It's a number of taking the 4 elements, earth, water, air, and fire, and seemingly making something out of nothing. And it's also a symbol on the magician tarot of the number 8, as above, so below. The ability to create, build, manifest something brand new.
It's very spiritual number.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's associated with God.
And also All Saints Day,
1.
too.
Yeah, I think of you're right. That's right. November 1st is All Saints Day. And because it was the end of summer and the beginning of a new season. Also, it falls under the sign of Scorpio, which is the underworld. Everything that's mysterious and secret, invisible, enchanting, those things that lie in the shadows. Yeah, so it makes sense that it would fall at that time.
Yeah,
and it also goes back to 2,000 years to Ireland, when they would do pagan festivals and raise sheep up in the air and sacrifice them for Celtic demons. That is supposedly the roots of Halloween. I'm not sure
absolutely.
what these demons were.
Well, they were. People would dress up in costumes to scare away. There was Stingy Jack. We were talking about Stingy Jack before we went on air, and Stingy Jack was who the jack-o'-lantern was named after. And it's pretty interesting, that story. People would cut out faces in turnips. Before pumpkins became popular for doing so, people used turnips. They would try to scare away the spirit of Stingy Jack. So it's very interesting.
I've known some Stingy Jacks in my life.
Yeah. We've all encountered them, haven't we?
Michael Myers was kind of a stingy jack, don't you think? I mean, they can't take the guy down.
No, apparently in this latest movie, Halloween Kills, they're finally supposed to lay him to rest. So, I mean, we've heard this before. There's been like how many Halloweens so far? What, 8, 9?
And then he grows back.
Yeah, he just comes back.
Right.
God, talk about scary. I saw the very first one. The first one that just creeped me out. I never seen another one after that one.
Well,
yeah, that was something.
You know, the good news in all this is nothing keeps coming back. It is when you're talking about lower residual energy, it's dealing in the density of illusions and fears and so forth. And if nothing more, those entities, spirits, whatever you want to call them, low-lying demons can be admonished.
Right.
And in my estimation, that means that they exist far from the gates of heaven, which is a realm of love. They're not allowed. They're only allowed in the denser planes where illusion and fear live.
That's right. The darker, heavier energies, which weighs everything
That's right,
down.
and something that we, you know, are still dealing with down here. Luckily, I'd like to believe most of us are above that.
Oh yeah, we are. We shine a light for other people to see, you know, and to kind of guide them out of the darkness in a way. All you have to do is just be a loving, kind person.
I think that darkness in the world is a very small percent. You could turn the TV on and throw the ID channel on and start thinking that is the reality. The reality is that if 99% of the people weren't good, we wouldn't still be existing here, you know, exceeding our animalistic instincts. I was going to say something else. I don't remember what it was.
I've been getting that a lot too today.
It'll come back. Come up later.
Yeah, it'll.
I know. I know what it was. It was a good memory from Halloween, with all this terror going on, and that I felt a lot better after I ate like a half a dozen miniature Butterfingers.
Oh,
and
so
I
those
would
are your
trade
favorites,
for
huh?
those. Well,
yeah, they are good.
They were one of my favorites because I had that crunch, you know. And you didn't have to worry about taking care of a sweet tooth with it.
No, it covered both salty and sweet, just like Reese's peanut butter cups. Oh boy, I can really go for one right now. It wouldn't help my voice at all because it'd be stuck all in my mouth.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go get a few Reese's. No, I'm just kidding.
Here, I'll just play a song and I'll just eat a couple of... Yeah.
That's a good idea, right?
Yeah. Well, speaking of songs, I'll set the tone by playing... Actually, I have a lot of good songs. So, being that this is Spooky Week, I got inspired. I'm going to play Strange Days by The Doors, and when we come back, do you want to talk about Jim Morrison and his numbers? Because he was, wasn't he a pioneer?
Yes, he was a pioneer all the way.
Yeah.
And he had some spooky numbers to go along with that we'll discuss.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I'm going to play Strange Days by The Doors. We'll be right back. We'll talk about Jim Morrison.
Love that song.
Yeah, me too. It really sets the mood.
One of my favorites.
Super spooky.
It is. Gotta love that distortion.
Oh yeah, I mean they were just amazing. I love Ray Manzarek on the keyboards, or I guess back then you call it the organ, right? The Hammond organ.
Yeah.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us all about Jim Morrison and his spooky self.
Well, James Douglas Morrison equals 14. If you take the letters of a name, you start with the J as an example. J is the 10th letter in the alphabet. So what you're always doing in numerology is you're adding the numbers together. It's called phatic addition to get a single root. So J is 1 plus 0. 10 is 1 plus 0 or 1. And you would do that across the board. I would be the next one. It's the 9th letter in the alphabet. And so forth. You get to a double number like M in Morrison, which is the 13th letter, then you'd add 1 and 3 equals 4. If you add his whole name together, his name adds up to his birth name, which is the cumulative energy of all of our lives in one number, and something that he would have experienced over a long force field as a 14, 1 in 4 is 5, indulgence in the 5 senses, because 14 is considered a karmic number. When I say that, I try to be careful with that because karmic in the sense that the world's not always really high on the non-conformers. You know, I think that's one of the reasons that 14 would be considered karmic. And also, he was a huge fan of, I can't remember if it was Blake or Huxley that said in his book, the derangement of the 5 senses to achieve the unknown. 14s don't necessarily personalize their bodies or feel attached to them. So they could very easily be astral travelers. They're not quite here, which can make them also very expansive in a society that is neurotic. And Morrison loved to push that in his concerts. Unfortunately, he was arrested for, I believe, exposing himself at a Miami concert, and there is the indulgence in the five senses. What you can say about a 14-5 is they're movers and shakers, and that they love to push the limits. John Lilly, who invented the flotation tank and used LSD to experiment on dolphins and for purposes of higher consciousness, was a 14. And I think of Jimi Hendrix, who was very expansive in his playing and mercurial, which is what 5 is. It's ruled by Gemini, ruler of Mercury, and how he could go from one range to the other was the brilliance of Hendrix, in my estimation. So, that was that aspect that pushed Morrison beyond, and unfortunately to a early death at 27. But he was brilliant. And I always wonder, with somebody that creative, would you really want to see him in concert? I've seen bands where you think, okay, they sound great and mellow in the studio, but you're not quite sure what you're going to get when you go to the concert. They're kind of revolutionary.
Yeah, improvisational. They just go and do what, they kind of go off and do. They don't stay in the normal parameters. They just go off the deep end, so to speak.
Right. Kind of like the barbarians who finally defeated the Romans. Right, they're just jumping out of trees. They don't have any organization. They're gonna come at you from all angles. Right. So you never knew what Morrison was going to do. Well, that creates an excitement.
Oh yeah.
This country was formed on a 14-day.
Oh wow, so, that would explain a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a fight for independence,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
pioneer.
What is interesting about Morrison to me also is that he's born on the 8th, and the 8th is so different than 14 because it's military, So he'd have these songs like Unknown Soldier, where there's cadences and military cadences in it, and his father was a admiral, and it's so disciplined, and the 14 is so revolutionary. What a projection of Vietnam was Morrison, those times.
Yeah. I mean, here you go with somebody talk about an internal tug of war, someone that's regimented, but someone that's also off the chain. So, no wonder why he imploded. That's a big internal conflict, I believe.
Right, and even though their numbers wouldn't be identical in all areas, then you see the connection between birthdays. You have Sinead O'Connor, born on the Sagittarius 8 also, which is, to me, directly in contrast. I think of 8 as Capricorn or Scorpio, so different than the Sagittarian energy, And Morrison admitted he loved structure and then the breakdown of structure and things dealing with chaos and revolution.
Yeah, well, that you pretty you explain that very well. That's just now you can kind of understand why he was the way he was. So that's awesome. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Definitely
and something else I had read about him was he said, you know, I'm compassionate. I care about people. Well, without his middle name, Jim Morrison, who we knew him as, his name was a 9, not a 14, and 9 is very compassionate. But he said, you know, but I was like a clown because I would just say the wrong things. Well, we just had a president, recent president who was a double 14. He just, you know, if somebody else would have spoke for him, he would have done fine, right?
Oh yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very spontaneous. Yeah, didn't come here. We didn't hire a filtered president. That's for sure.
Oh God, no. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, I guess we'll get back to all things spooky. Now I know that I'm going to play Season of the Witch by Donovan, and I'm going to kind of do that as an intro because I kind of want to talk about. I just lost her. You know, I just lost her name, and I'm surprised that I did. She was Stevie Nicks, and she's definitely into the all things ethereal. So, and she strikes me as someone who is into Wicca and things like that. So, I guess I'll play Season of the Witch, and then when we come back, we talk about Stevie.
Let's do it.
All right. Sounds good. We'll be right back, folks. We're going to play Season of the Witch by Donovan.
When I look out my window, many sights to see. And when I look in my window, so many different people to be, that it's strange, so strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. Must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the season of the witch. When I look over my shoulder, what do you think I see? Some cat looking over his shoulder at me, and he's strange, sure is strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch, yeah. Beatniks out to make it rich. Oh no, must be the window. What do you think I see? And when I look in my window, so many different people to be. It's strange. Sure is strange. You got to pick up every stitch. You got to pick up every stitch. The rabbit's running in the ditch. Oh no, must be the season of the witch. Must be the season of the witch, yeah. Must be the season of the witch. Where'd I go?
Now that is a nice witchy song for Halloween. It's pretty cool.
It is. I've never heard it before, so I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's good. It's got a nice trippy sound to it. I love songs like that.
It sure does. Right, with a little bit of that Frank Sinatra voice there, a little upbeat at the same time.
Yeah. It's ominous but upbeat. No, I'm kidding.
Doesn't make any sense, does it?
No. So now about a real life witch. Yeah. Upbeat but ominous. Yeah.
Well, and you know, in the theme that we were talking about, that's what was fascinating to me about the Doors' music too, because you had a jazz drummer, you had a flamenco Robbie Krieger on guitar, you know, which was upbeat and jazzy, and then Manzarek was doing that on was he not playing classical, but they threw that they implemented that jazz into it with Morrison's, you know, dark lyrics about funeral pyres. What an interesting combination.
Oh yeah, very, very. It's just magical. You know, to me, it's just pure magic when I hear them play. It's just amazing, and also Stevie Nicks. I mean, her songs are amazing, and they're mesmerizing too. And she's just such a mystical lady. Can you tell us about her numbers and what it has to do with all things mystical?
She's a her name adds up to 73, which when reduced, 7 and 3 is 10, 1 and 0 is 1, is a 1. The number of shamans, witches, wizards, magicians, inventors, innovators, futurists, writers, anything that deals with creativity. The singer of the cult, Ian Astbury, is a double 1, and there is an enchanting aspect to, you know, I mean, he ended up becoming the singer of the Doors until they were sued by Densmore for rights, and then they became writers on the Storm for a little bit, and once you get to that point, it's pretty much over, right? They're not the Doors. But and he had identical numbers to Morrison. So, and then we bring Stevie Nicks into the mix, and as a 1, being the seed of uniqueness. You know, the origin of, to think about, you know, how unique her voice was too. Yeah.
And you know, it's funny. They say witches always look young. How old is she now? She's got to be in her late 60s, early 70s.
She's
and
170.
she still looks amazing. It would surprise me.
She looks great. Right?
I know. Hey,
right.
that wig is really working
take.
for her.
Right, but I think of the fact that she's a Gemini, and Johnny Depp also carries one energy and is a Gemini. I do see a connection.
Wow.
I try to think of these Geminis that are mystical. Bob Dylan has to be included in that also.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're just super talented and super, mystical too. Very mesmerizing people.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say ones are rare. Everybody would have a 12% chance of being a one, but not all ones are the same. People think that in numerology, or I've had people misunderstand the idea, well, you're only 1 of 9 number, there's not much to it. Well, that's not the case. Stevie Nicks' name adds up to 73 1. And that changes a lot, because 7 is it's the most sacred number in all cultures, because it deals with invisible realms, antimatter, and perfection. And then there's the 3 behind that, and both of those numbers are very mystical. 3 being the number of artists, I find that combination interesting. And again, it takes me back to Ian Astbury of the Cult, who is a very good writer, songwriter, and his name adds up to 73.
Wow.
So, yeah. But I always think when I think of Nicks, I always think of the drowning in the sea of love, where everyone would want to drown. How enchanting is that?
Yeah.
Visually.
Yeah, that's from the song Gypsy.
Oh, really?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sarah. It's from Sarah. It just popped in my head. Yeah. I've had her song Gypsy in my head today.
Well,
I guess that's why it popped up. But that's
there are no accidents. She is a Gemini 1. She is a perfect depiction of what we think of gypsies. I think of all Geminis having some gypsy aspect. Their minds are very free to different ideas, so they're very fun to talk to, because they're so curious about everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which makes them kind of adolescent, too, right? So they're kind of fun. They're kind of practical jokers.
Yeah. They like to have fun.
Right.
Yeah. Who wants to stick in the mud, right?
and that's why I put up, had the artist draw a picture of Stevie Nicks in my first book. I was trying to find people I honored or thought was the very best in their field of music, and she definitely is there, Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to play another song, Witchy Woman, and when we come back, I wanted to talk. Oh, no, it's Witchy Woman by the Eagles.
Oh, interesting. Gotcha.
Yeah. And it really sets the tone, too. Nice little Halloween spooky tune. So, all right, I guess when we come back, maybe we'll talk about David Bowie next, because I have his song, We Are the Dead, on here, too. So, for now, Witchy Woman, and when we come back, we'll talk about David Bowie.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the dead. The day's coming. Day of the Dead's coming. And we're all...
epic stuff. Always a favorite of mine when I was growing up. It is.
That is. It's getting me in the mood.
That's good. There's a lot more music coming up too. But I guess for now, we'll talk about David Bowie's numbers. He was always a mystical kind of guy too.
All right. Well, Bowie's numbers are 1 and 3. In my estimation, that is the combination of artists, true artists. We've already talked about 1 being absolute pioneers, and then 3 being a birthing number, the number of artists, because out of 2 comes a third. I think of Bono of U2 as an example, and a great wordsmith on top of it.
Oh,
and also the ability, I don't want to say the perfect mix of male and female, who am I to say this, but to dub higher and lower voice and be able to pull that off to create something new is something that 3s are very capable of doing, and both Bono and David Bowie fit under that category. His voice was both low and high. I'm thinking of Under Pressure, as an example.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love that song, too. Absolutely.
Isn't that a wonderful song? Yeah, great message.
It is. Had 2 of the best people. Unfortunately, they're both gone now. Freddie Mercury
that was
David
my
Bowie.
favorite song of both of any of both those bands.
Yeah.
Of Bowie and Queen. I just thought that the combination again. In this case, Bowie was singing the lower aspect of that song, right? And Mercury was singing the higher.
Oh yeah, Freddie could hit the high notes like you wouldn't believe. He had extra incisors in his teeth that made his vocal range just unbelievable. He had like a big mouth of teeth, and it's funny when you see some of the pictures, you see the teeth jutting out, because they were overcrowded because he had 4 extra incisors or 2 extra, I don't remember. But
sometimes you don't want to get rid of those teeth and get braces, right?
Right. It just creates a better sound, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
It certainly did.
Yeah, in that case, anyway.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Bowie was a 1-3 combination, the same as Billy Joel, and then outside of the musical range, Salvador Dali.
Oh yeah, artistic, very artistic, and Freddie Mercury was very artistic too. He actually created the Queen logo, and was very very gifted artist.
His name adds up to 1 also.
Yeah, that's why I brought him up. Yeah. Yeah, he's just, he was just absolutely amazing. Sorry that he's gone. I just saw Bohemian Rhapsody for the umpteenth time the other night, and I was just really, what an amazing performance, by the way. It was just, you felt like it was actually him in that movie. So it was just, no wonder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's done so well.
Yeah, what a great job they did with that. Anytime you can depict somebody else, I think of it would be interesting to do his numbers. Morrison, had Val Kilmer. They had identical numbers.
Oh, wow.
You
that
see
is
that all
insane.
the time. Yeah, he's a 14, so he knows how to play the part and look like him, right?
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's spot on.
But
Man.
But, the thing interesting about Mercury is that he had a 14 destiny. Again, indulgence in the 5 senses. He died of AIDS. So there is, I don't go out predicting how that energy field is going to be filled, because it's not the same for everybody. But I had come to the conclusion, and even looking at, I was looking at the numbers of, I read the 24 Faces of Billy Milligan when I was a kid, and then found a 5-part series on his life on Netflix. And not only that, but, you know, how he went on to commit crimes, you know, that I didn't know what happened to his life afterwards. So,
yeah.
And
I mean, 14s usually implode.
Well, and here's the thing. He's a 111, you know. Da Vinci, right? Leonardo da Vinci. You're getting into triple numbers. That was my final book, because where do you go from triple numbers? You write a fantasy, right? Because that didn't know where else to take it, or there was no need. I had done enough people in my first 2 books that I lost that need. But 1 and 1 and 1 is 3. So what does Milligan do when he gets off on rape charges? Because he has these different personalities taking the spotlight, you know.
Yeah.
How he got out of the or he blamed Adelina for the rapes, who is a 3-year-old lesbian. You know, he had some interesting characters, but he was, as a 111, so intelligent, and yet he's born on the 14th. He's an Aquarius, you know, and he's born on 2/14. If you had 2 and 14, you get another karmic number. Now, Aquarius is unusual enough, but I've known other people born on that day. That's interesting, because then there's the crime. The 111's an absolute genius. Well, then they gave him, you know, free time, because he was the first to get out of 3 rape charges at Ohio State University. And then they started giving him a little free time. He got off on the insanity plea because of and it was around the time that the 3 Faces of Eve and Sybil came out. So there was a great opportunity for an insanity defense to, you know, give him liberation, because I can't remember the woman who did she write Sybil? She was the doctor. Well, anyway, she ended up becoming Milligan's doctor, you know. But
wow.
And he was going to be in a James Cameron movie, but Cameron wouldn't buy the rights. He didn't own the rights. And the guy from that wrote Flowers of Algernon wrote the 24 Faces of Billy Milligan. But anyway, Milligan, as a 3, he goes off and he's making $1,000 a painting of these different personalities in them, and now there's all these laws against them. So 14s are always involved. Anybody that brilliant as a 111, and yet he's involved in, and he can't really get away. You know, he can't. You know, the media is hounding him. Well, Amy Winehouse is a double 14. She couldn't handle the double 14s, and the problem is that the chaos that even Morrison might not have wanted, because he was a 1, and 1 wants to be alone. The 14s is drama. So they say they don't want it, but they bring it right in. You know.
Oh yeah, they just naturally bring that energy in. Yeah.
Of course they wanted it. The thing with 14 is, did the screen break? You know, did the filter, you know, was it demolished, right? And that's why I say those numbers easily, you know, grasp into other realms, you know.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. You know, talk about spooky stuff, man. Those are scary numbers.
It is, because, well, I think somebody like that, I have numbers that have pushed the limit, and I'm not proud of it or ashamed of it, but later on you go, oh, my God, I'm scared of myself. Am I a scaredy cat? And I go, no, you took a big chance, and now you're scared.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, one of those, whatever. And when you're thinking in those terms, that's because you're too in your mind anyway. You know, when people were dealing with energy, they're going to do what they're going to do. Hopefully, people are more aware and are going to do. You know, a good thing for a 14 to do would be a marathon runner. You know, they need to be involved in doing something with that physical energy because there's, you know, a lot of insomnia with that number. I don't know how much sleep Trump got, but I doubt he got very much.
Yeah.
And who was it that said he wouldn't be capable of meditating? Deepak Chopra, which I thought was funny. He said, he wouldn't be capable of it. Funny, isn't it?
Got too much going on.
Deepak knew
funny.
His numbers, right? He knew the energy.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yes. So.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready for one of those miniature Snickers. You know, why wait till next week?
Yeah. Oh my God. I know.
So we're talking Sunday. We're talking Sunday, right? Sunday.
Yeah, this coming Sunday. What can we expect numerologically for this coming Sunday for Halloween?
Yeah. So the numbers are 1. So magic, definitely a great time to connect with the other realms. I would suggest connecting with your angels. I would suggest intentionally when you're going to sleep to astro travel and meet some of your ascended masters and those that have passed before you that are waiting there for you. You know. And maybe even a ghost. You know. If that's what you want to bring in, you know, God will give you whatever you want. And whether we put the label of it being good or bad on it, I think we need to ask the question, did we create it or were we given the capacity to create it because we wanted it?
Like
and
projecting
it out,
like subconsciously projecting it.
Absolutely. Yes, I think it's very important to say, are these demons or are they projections of ourselves? And by the way, if they're near me, and that's a common theme, what kind of decisions am I making in my life? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I a smoking angel or a non-smoking angel? You know, or hand out lifesavers.
You got
I'm thinking of the Black Sabbath. Have you ever seen the Black Sabbath cover of Heaven and Hell? It's angels smoking cigarettes. No, I don't think it's very funny, but I had to chuckle anyway. You know.
Yeah.
Because kind of like the Earth plane.
Yeah. Well, like Van Halen's album with the angels. You know, it's like a baby angel smoking. You know, it's that combination of good and evil. You know what I mean? Well, not evil, but good and naughty. I'll just call it naughty.
Or I'm even thinking animal and spirit. You know, because we have a wild. You know, there's obviously as I'm watching Monday Night Football, there is still a beast-like thing going on. I mean, it's not the Roman Coliseum anymore. I'm excited about. I think that in time, once they those men are robots, then I think the injuries will go down. You know, at least for the human race.
Yeah.
And bring the androids into the picture. Get Future World involved in the NFL.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, I'm gonna play "We Are the Dead" by David Bowie, and I'll let you get your Snickers bars. I'm sorry, not your Snickers, your Butterfingers.
Yeah, be careful with that. You know what? They're both chocolate. That's fine.
I know, and I love chocolate. I just had chocolate pudding before the show. And I shouldn't because I'm diabetic, but I figured, this time of year I can't help it. Have a little snack here and there.
Well, it's like the angel having a cigarette, as long as you don't inhale it, right? Yeah.
Or you just have a tiny taste of it, and that's it.
Right, you blow it through your nose so you can taste it. The Indians were just tasting that tobacco, lots of it.
That's for sure. Get some peyote.
Right, yeah, I don't
Or
think
peyote.
it was tobacco.
Peyote.
Don't think it was tobacco.
It was a more hallucinogenic version.
Yes, yeah, more of a Jim Morrison type of meal.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to play David Bowie, and everybody go get your snacks. Enjoy the music. We'll be right back.
Something kind of hit me today. I looked at you, wondered if you saw things my way. People will hold us to blame. It hit me today. It hit me today. We're taking it hard all the time. Why don't we pass it by? Just reply, you've changed your mind. We're fighting with the eyes of the blind. Taking it hard. Taking it hard. We feel that we are paper, choking on you nightly. They tell me, son, we want you. Be elusive, but don't walk far. For we're breaking in the new boys. Deceive your next of kin. For you're dancing where the dogs decay. Defecating ecstasy. You're just an ally of the legion. Locator for the Virgin King. But I love you in your fussy bumps and your nimble dress trim. Oh, dress yourself, my urchin one, for I hear them on the rails. Because of all we've seen, because of all we've said, we are today. One thing kind of touched me today. I looked at you and counted all the times we had laid, pressing our love through the night, knowing it's right, knowing it's right. Now I'm hoping someone will care, living on the breath of a hope to be shared, trusting on the songs of our love, that someone will care, someone will care, but now where today's scrambled creatures, locked in tomorrow's double feature. Heaven is on the pillow, its silence competes with hell. It's a 24-hour service, guaranteed to make you tell. And the streets are full of pressed men, bent on getting hung and buried. And the legendary curtains are drawn round baby bankrupt who sucks you while you're sleeping. It's the theater of financiers. Count them, 15 round the table, white dressed to kill. Oh, caress yourself, my beauty, for my hands are all but withered. Oh, dress yourself, my urchin one, for I hear them on the stairs. Because of all we've seen, because of all we've said, we are the dead.
and that was "We Are the Dead" by David Bowie. So we spoke about David Bowie before, and he was just a great artist, and sorry he's gone, just like Freddie Mercury. So
well, I just smoked some really good weed, and I feel like I'm dead. I don't feel a thing.
Oh God, I'm naturally effervescent. I'm in the ethers all the time.
I went and I got the wrong candy. I got the wrong candy. I had some I had some chocolates and some hybrids. Yeah, I feel great.
Well, you
that
sound great.
Creepy.
You sound. I know, right? Well, I guess you're a happy creepy. I guess happy's good.
Yeah, I'm. Well, the thing is I didn't have any edibles. I had some spirits. I'm preparing for Halloween, right? I'm
well, there you go.
a Todd Patrick Curran. I'm an Irishman, so once a week I have my two. I don't want to sound cheap. It can just be a Canadian whiskey. And here's the key word here: Coke Zero, people, because they finally got a diet soda right?
Oh, really?
Zero's a little different. Well, zero's a little different than the diets. I think that they replaced it with a better sugar, unless there's only one sugar, or they got rid of some of the saccharin. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, saccharin's cancer-causing. Yep.
Well, it doesn't taste good, They kind of go hand in hand, right? It's like, poison. Yeah.
Yeah, if it tastes good, it's probably poison. Come here, my pretty.
That's what Jim Jones told them beforehand. I don't think he gave them any warnings other than the fact that he took over the airwaves 24 hours a day. Now, isn't that the formation of a cult, right?
Oh, God, talk about something scary. I had just seen a documentary about that not too long ago, and, he was another person, charismatic, seemed like he was for an everyman type of person, like loved everybody, didn't matter what color, creed, or, how much money you had, But he was kind of like a dual personality, just, that's just, talk about scary. I mean, what was his numbers?
He's in Beyond Numerology, tapping into other worlds. I had already had him in my first book, and then I found a book by Michael Myers. Ironic, his name is Michael Myers.
God.
It's spelled. I think it's spelled differently, but the bottom line is, I thought his book was so brilliant, so I thought, well, I got to do his numbers. Well, Michael adds up to 33, Myers adds up to 33, so he's a 66. A triple master number as it is, and it's an 800-page book that halted me from finishing or rewriting Beyond Numerology, tapping into other worlds. And he was a quadruple 14. We know Hitler was a 14. 5 is freedom. It's also tolerance. 14 is lack of. And it is split right down the middle. So if you think of Bruce Jenner or Bradley, now Chelsea Manning, Bruce, help me out here. What's the new name? I can't quite see the face still.
Formerly Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn, right? And then Bradley Manning, Chelsea Manning.
Yeah.
As to an understanding of the 14-5. I think you can refer to it as bi in any sense of the word. Two people, I don't want to say transsexual because I don't know if that's bisexual. Jim Jones was absolutely a bisexual. There's no doubt about it. And then you got a sociopath where he's going to pit everything is used for brainwashing. So the question of the book was it a CIA experiment? Was well worth reading. And at that point in Beyond Numerology, I came up with a theory in FBI profiling of the numbers that serial killers would have based on high double numbers like 77 mixed in with very low, or superhuman mixed in with subhuman numbers. The superhuman numbers like 88, Spielberg, and 10 other mystics born with those numbers. You know, you see, I'm trying to think of Ramanashan, who was the Srinivasa Ramanashan, who is now being awarded posthumously, born in 1888. He was an 88 and claimed to channel the mathematics of a Indian princess, is now known for string theory, you know, and openings in quantum physics, you know. But my point about the double numbers is that if you subtract them, you can't just add numbers; they all equal 0. So in theory, they've been given a gift that allows them to be boundaryless, which is, you know, 0 does not, as a subcast, has no earthly solidity or physicality to it. It's an open system. Those numbers in conjunction with the subhuman numbers, like the Unabomber had, who was also born on the 22nd, right, a master, makes for a very, very dangerous cocktail. And I think I struggled with doing the numbers because, you know, we all doubt ourselves. I don't care who you are, who you think you are, Tom Brady and all that. You know, you're always wanting to get better and so forth. But had recently come to the conclusion after looking at Milligan's numbers that they're absolutely FBI profiles. You can find examples of patterns that would certainly get your attention. To say that you could stop pre-crime with it is ridiculous. The God symbolism of it is the numbers always will fit later because they're only playing within certain energy fields that are not that vast. Because, for example, they could represent 9 numbers, and those 9 numbers don't mean many things. You can pinpoint those 9 numbers with 3 characteristics for each one. You know, a good reader isn't looking for abstract terms, right? Something that would really fit, you know, a number, you know.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's pretty fascinating.
I went off on a tangent there, but I've barely promoted Beyond Numerology. But I wrote Beyond Numerology, and then when I was with my ex, Marnie, and her mother was dying, and I told her, when you go, you need to give me a sign. You need to pull out my toe, and you have to make it real clear. And she said, I will pull your ear. So the morning comes, her mother's taken away from hospice. It wouldn't have been the first time. It's a shame. Her lips were purple that morning. I don't know if they call that jaundice or whatever it was, but she was taken away. And Marnie took care of her in every way. I can understand why she didn't want to be there on the ambulance with her. So her mother told her to go home and rest. So this is all happening within 2 hours of her taking, and we were resting, and my ear was pulled so hard it left a mark for 23 days. I was very proud of her mother for doing that. That's what I asked her to do.
Yeah,
that's what I asked her to do. Right, and a strong spirit, and and she had very advanced numbers. Exactly, and she had very advanced numbers. She was a 77 in the numbers. 14, we've already talked about that crossing boundaries, especially with the 77, right? Which is all mysticism.
Yeah.
And so I look at my clock, and it's 5:05. Well, when was her mother born? 10:10. When did we walk out of, when we found her gone, when did we leave? It was my girlfriend that noticed. It was 5:50 when we left. 10:10. You know, how many more markers do we need from God to show us? You can't make that stuff up. In fact, I hadn't worn a watch in 20 years. I don't like watches. I don't even set written 3 books, but I do not. I go 2 months of doing nothing and then be taken over. And I had an old IBM watch on it. And I was like, wow, it's 5:05. You know,
wow,
5:05. But here's what's funny about the story. People say, oh, they don't really want to know about the other realms. As much as I have encountered that stuff and tell some of those stories in Beyond Numerology, Tapping into Other Worlds, it scared me enough that I never looked at it in the mirror. I had somebody tell me that my mother told me it was there 23 days later. The mark was still there. It felt like it was bleeding in my ear. But just because you manifest these things or believe in them doesn't mean you're not afraid of them. Courage is always mixed in with fear, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
They go hand in hand, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's why I decided to rewrite Beyond Numerology, Tapping into the Worlds. I thought, how clear did I make my stories of seeing a fairy as a child, you know, having a college evacuated at St. Leo, having an alien in my room, and then the whole dormitory was evacuated, you know. I wanted to make those stories clearer, and then the spirits were becoming more imposing. So I thought I'll add 4 or 5 more stories. And then I read that Jim Jones book and created a whole, you know, so I added a lot of stuff to it, you know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, there are so many synchronicities and so much going on, you know, it's hard not to take that in and, you know, even get inspired by some certain things. You know, for me, growing up my whole life, I kind of felt like I got dropped off by a cosmic taxi cab here on this earth that I didn't feel like I belonged in because, you know, all these weird things kept happening to me, and I didn't ask for it. It just happened, you know, like seeing people that have passed, hearing them, you know, and it doesn't automatically mean that you're schizophrenic, no. You know, people want to label people like that, and I've never been diagnosed that way, you know, but it's, you know, a lot of people out there are suffering, you know, that I know me growing up in the 70s, you know, I think, you know, I didn't really start getting into my spirituality until I was in my 40s, you know, when I felt brave enough to really delve into that stuff. I always had an interest in it, but I didn't, you know, I figured, well, I have enough stuff coming at me already. You know, why encourage more? You know, you know, I just want to lead a normal life. But, you know, I mean, I see auras around people ever since I was 11, talk about the number 11. You know, it's a magical number, and that's when I was able to see auras and to hear people and see people. Yeah, and, you know, that was my whole gist. It's like, you know, ever since I was 11, all this stuff has been going on, and it's still continuing. A few days ago, you know, someone, you know, I was just sitting watching TV in my living room, and, you know, and I see papers fly off of my printer for no reason at all. And then it's like somebody walked through my living room into the kitchen, and then there was a bag of over-the-counter medications, stuff for my dad, you know, that was just sitting on the counter in the kitchen, you know, for him to pick up. And it was heavy. It was not light. You know, it was a big bag full of stuff, and it got knocked over, like almost immediately after the papers were flying. So it's like somebody was trying to message me. And I believe it was my mom, Phyllis, because it was 2 years ago yesterday that she passed away on, you know, October 24th. And I think it was just her making herself known. Several weeks prior, I was in the kitchen, and, well, actually it was over the summertime. It was like, I think, late August, early September. I'm in the kitchen, and I hear her say my name. And, I was just like, wow. My mom had a strong presence, too, even up till the time she passed. To the very last second, she just was not letting go of her body. And when, I had to call my brother Chuck and ask him, please tell Mom she can move on. And when he did, she finally moved on. But, shortly afterwards, I would hear her call my name. She's in another realm, but I believe she's watching over us too. And I believe, when people are that strong, and she was mentally strong, and spiritually strong, she just has that power, just like Marnie's mom. It's just amazing how advanced some people are.
Well, and then the other thing is, you have two believers, right? I'm believing it, and I'm not sure if the person that's believing it. Of course, I did her numbers and was kind of going, wow, she's not missing many numbers. She's probably an old soul. She's got a gift, So yeah, when you have two people open to that, there's no creeping through the veil is that sounds kind of ominous. But with Halloween coming up, we'll go with creeping through the veil.
I'm telling you, the veil. They say the veil between our world and the spirit world is the thinnest around this time, especially this week. And Todd, let me tell you something. I'm going to send you a picture of right before our broadcast. There's a little tiny bird feather that was on my tile floor. And I didn't, I walked, back and forth. I'm actually doing this show from my living room, folks. And, right before I did it, there was a bird feather, and I don't have any birds. And I thought, wow, that's like a sign that, that something really cool is going on. Somebody's watching over me, whether it be my mom or an angel or another relative. I just thought it was a cool thing. And, I guess it's kind of encouraging me to keep doing what I'm doing on the radio, because for a while I just stopped, because I was really sad over my mom passing. And, I would just get through the day and do what I had to do. But in the end, I just had this depression looming over me. And finally I was, oh boy, now my phone is starting to beep. Okay.
So Mom? Did her name show up?
No. Well, I'll just say, hi, Mom, if you're here. Maybe that's confirmation. I don't know. I'll take it as a confirmation.
Might as well.
But,
right? Might be open to it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well,
but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
What I like about it all is, goblins, ghosts. We don't want to take the mystery out of life. Death is life and death, and the mythology of the changing of the seasons, the ending of summer and new life. Halloween is a valuable holiday, and honoring the Druids and the pagans and the Wiccans, and also it's there's nothing that is haunting about Halloween. It's about love and feathers, and a parent telling the child, don't eat too many of those candy bars, right? Moderation.
Right.
Yeah. And, some Fuji apples would be good, too. You have a little caramel with them. That's somewhat healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. mean, I'd put like caramel in almonds or something like that. I'm allergic to peanuts, so I can't really add peanuts to them anymore. I used to love those things. But yeah, I mean Halloween.
I like the Halloween movie just because it's an American thing. It might have just been because it looked like the houses I remember in the 70s. And you know, you got a lot of nutballs in America. There's a lot of serial killers out there. But the thing about all of that is you like that as a kid, and that's all wonderful and fun. I like looking at the pumpkins and stuff like that, you know. But
yeah.
The thing is in the end, we don't need any creeps going or walking around or any of that kind of stuff. That lower aspect of society that is caught in drama or murder or kills, whether it's because of poverty or lack of love, needs to be admonished from our society.
It does.
And that's the part of me that you say, oh, I put those movies away a long time ago. We chuckled about those when we were kids, you know. But unfortunately, that stuff is being replicated in our society. And I'm not saying because of the saturation of it, but we know statistically that doesn't help in any means.
No.
It's not it's not putting your mind in thinking about love. That's the problem there.
Right. You know, we just have to be a light to others. You can't force others to think like we do, but we can set an example and hope, extend the olive branch and hope that people accept it and just try to be a light in this world. Just be kind. Just show the example of being kind and not doing the codependent thing and trying to take on somebody else's stuff. I just had to throw that in there. I know it has absolutely nothing to do with Halloween, but that's something I've learned.
It's okay to sit down and watch all 7 Halloween movies, but make sure you have some holy water nearby, and you have a loved one there to say I'm sorry to when it's over with. I'm not I'm not throwing out these movies. I liked all of them. I liked The Conjuring 1 and The Conjuring 2.
Me too.
Because it was based on supposedly true stories. Who am I to say whether there are demons? Again, are they manifestations of our own energy? When you see papers flying or you see anything flying, I had a girlfriend that moved papers all the time. Now, a sack of potatoes. Your story is a little more interesting because either you have a lot of kinetic energy also. I think it was your mother, but I wanted to remind the audience there, if they didn't know, that your name adds up to 55. It is also a master number and 5 doesn't seem like it's here. It's actually a double aspect of Sagittarius, your sign. You got a double broomstick out there. You might not even need one. Right? Just leave it at home. Like she must be in her room. Her broomstick's at home. Yeah,
it's just the experiences I've had in my life, and I've had to go through most of them alone. Nobody would believe me if I said that. Yeah. And I'm
right.
Just,
well, and it's like I'm just getting to know you. I kind of started out vain with, I'm in Mawa and I saw a 2 football field size, ship coming not only over the house, but it's barely above the house, and it's 2 football fields. So when you're a writer, you become absorbed in telling your own story. When what's happening is I'm calling all this group soul. I fell into a little lull a couple of weeks ago. We all do. Well, it was perfect. It gave me an opportunity to receive and say, well, wait a minute. If I feel misunderstood, who is my group soul? So I started calling different friends, and I'm like, really? You had all those experiences, right? I was so busy with my own book. And you say, oh, what a coincidence, right? The law of attraction. They're just like I am, except those experiences are so unique, and the universe is so vast that nobody's experience is really the same. That's why, in some ways, it's very personal, you know.
Oh, very personal. And you know, to be honest with you, I had been diagnosed as a what do you call that? With negative psychokinesis, and I had to learn how to turn that around with binaural beats, which is, you know, it works with the brain waves, and it retrains your brain to think positive. And you know, because a lot of times I'd say affirmations, I'd try to train my brain, and you know, it would work to a certain extent, but really, I would definitely recommend Dr. Joe Gallenberger. He's just he had a book and CD out called Liquid Luck, and the CD has it has
cool name.
Yeah, isn't it cool? And
and
it's a gold cover. And I actually, if you want to archive, I did a show with him, and the show was called Liquid Luck, and it was about his book and CD, and it was about negative psychokinesis. And I believe I'd say most of America has it because, you know, I mean, we're taught, you know, to expect everything to go wrong. And, you know, we really need to retrain our brains because what we put out subconsciously gets attracted right to us. The earth has a magnetic field, and so do we. And I had to learn this through my own navigating negative psychokinesis, is that, you know, we are all very powerful. Our thoughts, our words, our deeds are all powerful, so it's important to keep them positive. You know, and I like, you know, like decorating for every holiday, and Halloween's one of my favorites because I like painting pumpkins. I'm an artist. I like doing all that. And I just, you know, just learning to turn things around. You get a negative thought in your head, you say cancel, cancel, delete. You know, you just kind of trying to train your mind to, I mean, not ignore your emotions, because if you ignore your emotions stay stuck in your body. And I had to go through ART therapy. And if I didn't experience it myself, I would have said this is woo-woo stuff. But, you know, it's almost like EMDR. You know, the practitioner brings you through certain experiences and uses, you know, waves their hand in front of your eyes, and your eyes move, which does something to your parasympathetic glands, and it releases any trapped emotions. And I would feel like my body twitching from that. And it was just an amazing experience, and it taught me that we are powerful, and we have to watch what we think, speak, and do, because we have our auric field, our psychic shield, which is generated by our chakras. You know, any thoughts we have projects out into the earthly magnetic field, and we create all this, and we have to learn to create better. So I'll you know, I have to get off my soapbox right now because we have to get back to we'll get back to the show at hand. But in the spirit of Halloween.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to play Dead Man's Party. That'll be our last, I think, one of our last little breaks while I can fit it in.
Didn't you say you were twitching? You were twitching?
Yeah. When I was having the ART therapy, and I'm not a crier by any means, and I'm not shaming anybody who is, but I was always taught to be stoic and to just suck it up and just roll with it. I was bawling like a baby because everything that I had felt from previous traumas, and I've had a lot, just came right out, and I just started bawling, like guttural bawling. And
have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie Twitchers?
No. Oh, Twitches, yeah, with the twins, twin witches. Tia.
Oh, is
Tia
it? Oh, I just made it up. I didn't know if there was a movie called Twitchers. I just, you know, I was thinking kind of Halloweenish.
Yeah, Twitches. It's a very good Disney movie. I highly recommend it. But I think I'll play.
The thing is, we don't want too much we don't want too much positivity during all of this, right? And certainly not too much sugar.
Yeah. You have to really navigate your emotions. You have to feel them, and then most importantly, release them. Because if you don't, I was a person that avoided my feelings. I used to work 3 jobs. I used to avoid any kind of confrontation. I didn't let my emotions show up, and I was like a ticking time bomb. And, you have to learn to feel. You have to learn to heal what's going on with you, and then let it go. That's how you release all that stuff. And Tai Chi is very good, too. Just throwing that in there. But getting back to the Halloween theme, I'm going to play Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo. It's an 80s song, but I thought it was really cool. So I'll play it, and then when we come back, we'll talk more
got
things
a bouncy
about
name.
more. Yeah, Oingo Boingo. You kind of picture somebody on one of those, what do you call it? I forgot what they're called. It's like it's got a spring on the bottom, and it's got the handles on top. I'll think of it when we come back.
In Green Fury, Funland performs on pogo sticks when they come out.
That's it, pogo sticks. That's it.
Right.
Well, there we go. Well, I'm going to play Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo. Kind of set us back into the Halloween mood.
Dead man over my shoulder. She'll put a spell on you. She'll put a spell on you. She's the witch queen of New Orleans. Of New Orleans. I'm gonna tell you a story strangers did not see, of zombie voodoo breezy and the witch queen of New Orleans. She lives in a world of magic, possessed by the devil's cue. From a shack near the swamp I made a mud pie bread. Marie said a witch and a brew. She'll put a spell on you. She'll put a spell on you. She's the witch queen of New Orleans. Of New Orleans. Dime or a nickel anyone could buy, voodoo of any kind. She had potions and lotions, turpentine on leaf, guaranteed to blow your mind. Early one morning into Market Swamp Dew, Spanish Mary was waiting her eye. Though she'll never return, all the Cajuns knew a witch queen never died. She'll put a spell on you. She'll put a spell on you. She's the witch queen of New Orleans. Of New Orleans. She'll put a spell on you. She'll put a spell on you.
I had to throw that in because we only have like 13 minutes left, and I absolutely love that song, Witch Queen of New Orleans by Redbone. Same Native American Indian group that sang "Come and Get Your Love." Come and get your love. Oh, this is another hit of theirs, and really cool and spooky. Yeah.
It sure is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I've never heard it before.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's an oldie but a goodie. Yeah.
I've heard "Come and Get Your Love" before, and you have a very nice voice, by the way.
Thank you.
It's never too late.
That's right. I sing karaoke. Yeah. And I'm going to come out with a song too called "Get Back Up Again," and it's based on life and the teachings of Mr. Sylvester Stallone, also known as Rocky Balboa. So I'm working on that now. Yeah.
Nice.
But thanks. Yeah. I just I'm getting back up after my mom passing, and of course my dad 2 months after my mom passed, my dad got diagnosed with cancer, bladder cancer, and then he beat that, and then he got parotid gland cancer, 4th stage, beat that, and more recently a few days ago he got diagnosed again with bladder cancer. So everybody please keep your prayers up for him. He's fought a mighty battle, and he's a tank. He really is a tank. He's got a great attitude about everything, and he's willing to fight. So that's good.
When did your mom pass?
She passed October 24th, 2019.
I see. Well, I'm
Yeah.
sorry for your loss. Was not
you.
very long ago.
No,
And good luck
exactly.
with your dad.
Thank you, yeah. It's difficult when you lose one parent at any age, and then 2 months later your remaining parent gets cancer. So it's been a rough road, especially for him, But me, I try to assist in any way I can, and, it's just, it's a battle, but I think it's one that he can win because he already overcame the odds, beating 4-stage parotid gland cancer, one of the rarest cancers there is. So,
wow.
But the exception was, he's had bladder cancer about 4 or 5 times, and now this time it spread into his prostate. So, I believe he's going to beat that too because he already beat the almost unbeatable parotid gland cancer. So there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to put up a good fight. But so it's.
You might want to share. I don't know if you've seen the movie Unbreakable, but that would be a fun one to watch with him, right? Like, Some people
it's
you just can't
story.
stop. Yeah, some people you just can't stop, and because we all have supernatural energy. Some have a stronger presence than others.
Oh yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And we got a lot of presents coming on Sunday.
Oh, my God.
You going to be giving out candy and stuff?
Oh, yeah. How about you?
Oh, yeah. Reese's, Butterfingers, Kit Kats. I'm not giving anyone my address, but I will have those
hey,
3
everybody
goodies
go to Todd's
waiting.
House.
Oh, and apples.
Oh yeah, apples.
I was disappointed as a kid when I got an apple, and it made the basket heavy, and I didn't want to drag that thing around with apples.
I know.
So usually I just kind of dump it off to the side in their yard or something. I feel bad about it. I'm not. This isn't a confessional. I realize that, but I just didn't want an apple. I wouldn't eat all my candy. I'd put some for the morning, but I really didn't want fruit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I used to love, when we were kids, Halloween was the best until the razor blade and the apple scare. Then everybody stopped giving out homemade baked treats. You would get clusters of popcorn and caramel, or you get the candy apple or caramel apples, things like that just made it so special. And people just, where I lived on Long Island, it was just elaborate. There was one guy that had almost like a haunted attraction in front of his house, and people would jump out at the bushes at you and everything. It was the coolest thing. And and it's not like anything weird. People just like to have fun and like to decorate and create odd things. It's just, and it brings the family together. That's what I love about Halloween.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I love that it's so mystical and spiritual.
Exactly. It's all community. It's all about family. It's not about anything else. It's not about it's not about lower forces. But it's like you're watching TV and you see the ID channel. There's a certain aspect of society that fall to their impulses. Luckily, they're the minority. They're not the 99%, and we all know that we're capable of doing that. That's not what Halloween is about.
Right.
It's not about toilet paper.
Community.
None of that stuff. I don't want to give the kids any ideas. It's not about ding door ditch.
Yeah. Let's not talk about the eggs or fire extinguishers or anything like that.
I miss those days.
I know.
Yeah, fire
extinguishers.
Wow, you're out of control. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Mischief Night, Port Washington, New York.
I didn't even know about that. Yeah.
Oh my God, you just wanted to stay indoors that night, honestly. But but the whole gist of Halloween, it's like celebrating community and family and remembering the ones that we've lost. There's a few holidays that do that. All Saints Day, which falls on November 2nd. There's also, and also this that falls on the same exact day as Day of the Dead for Mexico. It's their Christian version it is another version of All Saints Day. Dia de los Muertos. That's what it's called.
That is also that's a song of the church. Wonderful mystical song.
Yeah.
Of the church. Yeah. I didn't know it was associated with Mexico.
Oh yeah. That's another big. It became very popular in the U.S. a few years ago. There's only 5 minutes left in our broadcast. Hey Todd, tell people about your how people can reach you, and where they can get your books, and what your upcoming.
My email is spiritflight888@gmail.com. You can get my books by going to Amazon.com and put the Mysteries of Numerology in, the Guide to Your Destiny. Also, Beyond Numerology, Tapping into Other Worlds. You might have to put the whole title in there. I'm not sure why. Green Fury is my fantasy dark comedy book, the third I wrote, and numbers and vortexes somehow got into that story too, which was wonderful. But that's where you can get my 3 books. If you want readings, you can contact me at my email that I gave you, spiritflight888.
Yeah, and Todd is right on with his numerological readings, just spot on. And he's just a wonderful guy, very talented. And thank you so much for doing the show on such short notice. A few days ago, this idea popped in my head. Oh, let's do some spooky numerology. So thank you for joining me on such short notice, and for giving your numerological wisdom to everybody.
Well, and all your wisdom, and some of the spiritual experiences that you had. It's funny that I had no idea what we were going to talk about, and I never worry about that. I say, how much do I know about the history of Halloween? What you find out is that there's a lot more wealth of information inside of us than we realize. Oh, yeah.
And it's cool. We just went on to different spiritual musicians, which is fine, because that definitely goes along with our theme. So, everything just worked out. And, and it was real cool that this feather just happened to appear on my floor right before the show. So that's a sign to me that this is a good thing. So.
Well,
that's
I don't
really
know
cool.
with Halloween coming too. You got to remember Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Oh, God. Yeah, I get to see a bunch of birds flying at me right now.
A little creepiness is okay, right? Because we know all we have is an eternity of love.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
It.
We do.
We like
love
to scare ourselves every once
fear.
in a while.
Yeah.
This is our only chance to scare ourselves, because it's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Right?
Unless you're in a bad neighborhood.
That's what it comes down to. Yeah, this is the place we get to scare ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, well, thank you so much again, and we'll have to do this again soon. We'll even if it's just playing music. I always have a good time talking with you. So thanks again. And we're about to get cut off by Blog Talk. So
all right.
I will wish you a good night, a happy Halloween for you, Todd, and everybody out there, a safe and happy one. Get lots of candy, be happy, be safe at the parties, and just have fun. And have fun.
Thank you so much, Susan. You have a wonderful night, and thanks for inviting me, and we will do it again soon.
That's right, we will. Thank you. Have a good night, Todd.
Good night.
Thanks. And everybody out there, like I said before, have a safe and happy Halloween, and have a good night.